I'm going to welcome our panelists for our first panel of the day, the future of MSP automation, better planning, better decisions, and better results.
Well, thank you, Caitlin, for that fantastic introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where on this planet you guys are dialing in from or logging in from. As Caitlin mentioned, this is our vendor panel discussion, the future of MSP automation, better planning, better decisions, better results. My name is Tim Sheehan. I am the SVP of Global Sales for Xperience, and I'm also your host today for our discussion. First of all, thank you guys for joining. I hope that first session went, I thought it was great. Some really good content there. Obviously, the theme of automation we're going to carry into this in this panel discussion. I'm really excited about this discussion because we have some very well-known names in the vendor space, some recognizable names that I am going to introduce to you now. So I'm looking forward to some great contribution. Some introductions. Eric Torres, VP of Channel Development at ScalePad, based in Milwaukee. Although, Eric, I don't know if you ever actually go home because I always see
a few nights a year I'm home. A few nights.
I think your water bill is due or overdue. Jimmy Hatzel, VP of Revenue at CyberQP. He's based out of the Big Apple. Jimmy, I'm assuming a Yankees fan. You're on.
Oh, I'm from Philly, so
Oh, okay.
Philly all the way. Big win yesterday.
Because any Yankees fans, I'm sorry, but not this year.
Red October.
That's right. First time since 2016 they didn't make the playoffs. Go figure. And Jim Peterson, Principal Solutions Advisor at ConnectWise in the hometown of love them or hate them, Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana. Jim, I'm a Purdue guy, so I kind of have to not like. So
I won't hold it against you. We're good.
Although we can't play football, so it doesn't really matter.
There you go.
And thank you, Jimmy and Jim, for changing keeping your names the way they are, so it doesn't get confusing. You guys, let's set the stage just a bit on the discussion. If we go back to the pandemic the last few years, one of the good things that came out of the pandemic, let's be honest, there's not many things that came out of it, was a lot of MSPs went back and said, hey, how do we be more operationally efficient during these hard times, another storm that we have to weather? And a lot of that focus on operational efficiencies came through, hey, we need to automate a lot of these manual tasks, a lot of these manual processes. And so I think, the ones that are at the higher operational maturity is kind of a standard thing. Some of the smaller MSPs, some of the mid-size MSPs, that's where a lot of their focus. And I think it's driving a lot of attention today, right? The Logic Monitor released a survey that said about 95% of MSPs say automation is necessary to focus on innovation and strategic goals. So nearly 100%. Some of the benefits that they cite from that study, MSPs that focus on automation on average see about a 42% improved time efficiency, a 34% reduction in errors. He's taken the person out, the human. And then the big one, 33% bigger profits. And that study also says that on average, engineers at most MSPs devote about 39% to manual tasks. And conversely, a separate study that was done by Axion and Channelnomics, only 14% of MSPs are actually attempting to automate today. So, I don't know what you guys think about those facts. I think everybody wants to, but nobody's actually doing it yet. But let's kick off with a initial question for you guys. Automation is a broad topic. We all know that. Adam and Kevin were talking about some of the automation that we were building into our solution set. But there's tool sets and platforms that are designed to specifically drive automation, leveraging APIs. And then there's just the focus on what are the manual things we're doing in the office. First question, I guess, for you guys is, what does automation kind of mean to you guys, and what should it mean? What do you guys think it should mean to the MSP community? And I'll let anyone anyone dive in first?
Yeah, I can jump in there first, and I think automation has been something that engineers have been doing for decades now. You know, they've been finding ways with which they work and scripting how they're doing things. Everything from deploying a workstation to their daily tasks. Now it's just grown above and beyond that. So how can we automate more of the operational tasks, the sales tasks, get even deeper into the engineering task and automate those? And that, to me, it comes from us vendors. Us vendors have to look at that and say, okay, well, how can we add to this? What can we bring to the table to help these organizations be more efficient?
Yeah, scripts, like now we're trying to automate scripts. So we're automating the automation. It's the next step. Jim, anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, just throw in, I mean, to simplify it from our perspective, right? We're trying to eliminate or minimize just labor. At the end of the day, trying to reduce steps in processes, eliminate labor. And that can come from programming, AI scripting. Like Eric said, we've been doing this for years and years, and we're always finding new ways to implement automation, right? A creative task that was really impactful 4 years ago now is just part of a solution. So how can we automate that so we can open up avenues for new tasks?
Jimmy, you want to round it out?
Just echoing what everyone else said, in simplest form, it's taking a series of steps that is repeatable or some sort of pattern and turning it into one or two or a lesser number of steps. So in practical sense, scripting, AI doing things for you, but it's really just making things easier. It's hard to define automation without using the word automate, but I think we all successfully did it.
Yeah. I think there's it wasn't just about saving money. It was about like saving resources, saving people, and especially during the pandemic, we were like, I can't hire anymore. So how do I make the most of what I have today, and how do I drive the most efficiencies with the people I have as well, right?
I mean, sorry, we go.
No, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, everything's changed in recent years, and it will continue to change. So you look at all areas of business, especially customer support, which heavily affects MSPs. You look at sales, you look at marketing. The job of 10, 15 people a couple years ago is going to be, or already is, the job of one person. And automation is the key to all of that. So you look years before, it took hundreds or thousands of people to harvest the crops for the year. Now you send a army of tractors, and you have a couple experienced mega farmers doing the same thing. And we are seeing the same thing with technology happening today. It is like the MSPs who are embracing this are going to be able to do 10 times the amount or 100 times the amount of work with the same number of people and the same labor costs.
Yeah, I think Jimmy, to your point, the OMLs, the operational material level, that has been used over and over again. One of the key focuses of growth as you move up through the operational maturity levels is operational efficiencies, automation. So it's a good point. Where should MSPs start looking to incorporate automation of manual tests? Where do we begin?
Yeah, I would throw out there, start to review tasks that really just don't move the needle. Tasks where the people input isn't making the impact that it used to make, right? So finding those tasks that would help a business are important, but just don't really change the perspective of the client. Really focusing on those to find ways to make those more efficient so that we can work on those tasks that do move the needle.
If I could jump in, I would say understanding where time's being spent, and not just engineering time, but operational time and even your sales team's time. What are they doing is, on the sales side of it, yeah, making the calls and going on the appointments, things like that. But there has to be a way to do that better. There's always a better way of doing things. Same thing on the tech side. If MSPs, every single MSP has somebody's role who it is to make sure that the backups happen, that they're checking the logs, checking to make sure that your client's biggest asset, their data, is protected. So you look at that, where the sales reps are spending time, where engineers are spending time that could really be applied somewhere else. Can we automate something with the backup process where we don't necessarily have to monitor it the way that we used to? Can we affect the sales process so that they're spending less time prepping for that sales call and more time prospecting and calling new leads? And then on the other engineering aspect of it, and that's probably the hardest part. How do we automate the resolution of these tasks? How do we automate when an issue comes up to the day that makes it into the report saying it was resolved and all good and well? What can we do so that human hands don't actually have to touch it? So there's a lot that goes into it. It's a big question, but I say starting with understanding where your time is being spent. If you understand that, you can start picking that apart to see, okay, well, what can we change?
So Eric, oddly enough, so this is the start of my second day, my work day. I'm in Scotland right now. So I was at an earlier event, and of course the topic of automation came up. And to your point, one of the things they said is you have to, if you're trying to drive automation, you have to document your automation. You have to understand or document the processes you have, and then you have to take a measurement of as well. So you can't start an automation of a manual task or manual process unless you've documented it first, then start measuring against it. How much time are you actually wasting on that task? And then you start to okay, these are the ones I need to prioritize. These are these things I need to focus. This is where, what I say, 39% of my time is being wasted, right? Okay, good stuff. All right, next question. What automation should MSPs, what should they look for when evaluating new solutions for their tech stack? So they're trying to bring in new solutions. How to prioritize automation and reduction of manual tasks in their evaluation criteria. And what should that criteria look like, taking into consideration things like integrations or like a fleet swap, right? What are you guys' thoughts there? And Jimmy, how about Jimmy?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think when MSPs look at automation, you need to be operating from the standpoint that level 1 technicians are going to be a thing of the past in a couple of years, and it may be 2 years, it may be 10 years. I don't know exactly how long, but things that are lower skill, and that your people off the street are doing, these are all going to be automated, or they're going to be done by AI. So what are those tasks, right? It's things, simple tickets, account unlocks, password resets, that kind of stuff, onboarding people, offboarding people. So I think you need to match that to your processes, and definitely look at your integrations. So for example, if you are spending a bunch of time signing up new customers, or a new employee comes in, they need to sign them up for the 100 different SaaS services that company uses and your company manages. What are the steps that you're doing right now? Right, you're going through your PSA, your RMM, you're deploying out, some identity solution. So whatever automation you're using needs to integrate with these types of tools.
Yeah, I would throw in there, right? Any new solution, we would typically recommend that it either reduces risk or reduces time, our automation side of things. And if we think of the efficiencies, there's typically two types of companies that might look at the efficiency or automation as a margin gain, right? I can make a little more money on my services by decreasing the time. And then there's the companies that look at the capacity side. Like, what else can I do with that time now? How can I apply that time I've received through automation to our next creative task? Because we have a funnel, right? All MSPs have a funnel, and it's typically overflowing because all this challenging work is coming in, but we only have a few people to actually execute on it. That's where the real benefit comes in, right? We can put a new solution in that reduces time, reduces risk, and we can increase the output of that funnel.
Yeah, Jim, that's a good point.
If If I can add
Go
to
ahead,
that
Eric.
too, and it's a lot of what Jimmy was just saying, but understanding the integration pieces of it. You already as an MSP, you already selected your stack. You know what you're working with, but what other tools does your current stack interact with that could truly assist? And MSPs are already doing that. When I meet a brand new ScalePad prospect, they're doing that right now and it's asking us, okay, well, do you integrate? And they'll list out all the tools they're using so that they get a good understanding, because it's easy for a vendor to give lip service and saying, yeah, we can save you time, we can make you money. Every one of us does that, but truly understanding their stack and how we fit in with that, then we can start going through line by line, showing them, well, here's exactly how this automation process would work, or even sharing existing partners that we have and just saying, hey, here's another MSP that's using almost an identical tool stack to you. Let's see how their life has changed since they've adopted these new products.
Yeah, and Jim, you hit on a good point too, about it's not just efficiencies, but also taking consideration risk, right? And that's because if you don't take in consideration risk, that could be a massive time suck if there's any kind of breach or any kind of issue. And then to take that to the next level, we're talking about integrations as part of the automation process, but that also, when you start to integrate into multiple solutions, you have to take in consideration the risks that those are. And I think Kevin talked about that a bit in the first session as well. Is you got to make sure that the ones that you're integrating with are also secure, right? They're low risk as well. We had a partner that at one point said he had 24 BCDR solutions. You just keep on acquiring new partners, and you don't change. And the thing that kept him up at night was the fact that he was worried about all the different integrations and are all these different vendors all safe, and so obviously consolidating to one vendor to us was like made him sleep much better. But the risk is something that we have to take in consideration all the time, right? Yeah.
I think that brings up a fantastic point. Just the things that are often overlooked, like, okay, well, how many backups do I really have? How many vendors am I working with? And just whittling that down and having maybe it's a core 1, 2, or 3, and saying, here's exactly what I'm working with, because MSPs are merging, they're selling, they're gobbling up smaller ones, they're becoming a lot bigger than what they used to be, and inheriting all kinds of different solutions, and it's hard to sit there and dictate, okay, well, what's going to be the best of breed solution for me, and how do I save my engineers some time?
Yeah, we that's one thing we didn't actually talk about, Eric, was that's a good point, is that's part of the automation, is how many vendors can I consolidate to that can do, all these things I need without having like 5 vendors doing the same thing. And so you have the one throat to choke kind of aspect, and that's going to drive a lot of efficiencies as well. How much time we got left? We got a few minutes left. Let's get a couple more questions out. All right, you guys, is there any low-hanging fruit, like right out of the gate? Like what can MSPs look for tomorrow, immediately, to help drive some automations, drive efficiencies, hit the 34% reduction in errors, drive 42% improvement in time efficiencies?
Yeah, I'll kick off. The lowest hanging fruit that I have, we all do this, right? We have automation built into a lot of our products and processes that just don't get leveraged. I'd say the first thing I would do is talk to your vendors, find out what automation solutions they have in play, and if you're not leveraging them, start to consider leveraging them, because it's the easiest way of attack. We all have scripts, we all have AI. Starting to leverage that, it's already pre-built and ready for you, is kind of the lowest hanging fruit I think there is.
I agree with that 100%. Probably have some automation that you're not using. I'll say from a ticket perspective, though, if you're going to categorize them, level 1, onboarding, offboarding, password resets, account unlocks, anything related to that where it's just text eating up time, because you can automate it. You get so much time back that you can leverage for project work, better documentation, building more automation. That's where to look.
I'm looking at this in two ways. How do I increase efficiency, and how do I make some money? So increasing efficiency, the low hanging fruit for me is on the backup side of the house, and trying to limit how much time an engineer spends reviewing those backup logs, the screenshot verifications, all of the ticketing and nuances that are involved with managing backups, and finding a tool set to do just that, which we partner fantastically with you guys on it with our backup radar product. But that's a way to get time back, and to me that's just a no-brainer and easy. I guarantee time savings in doing that. The other side of it that I think is the very low-hanging fruit is, as an MSP owner and as on the sales side of the house, what are the sales that I can get that'll help me move that needle at month's end? And a lot of that are the often overlooked, adding additional protection to the hardware that's out there. Warranty sales. There's a tool, our tool Lifecycle Manager does exactly that. We uncover warranty sale opportunities every single week. You could go in as a sales rep and just say, hey, who are the ones that I need to talk to this week? That, to me, a warranty sale is quite an easy sale, and an incredible margin amounts on it. So little things here and there that I think are the easy sales and easy ways to save some time.
There was a question that came from Anthony. He said, "Can we automate our sales process so I don't have to talk to people and just cash checks?" Anthony's not a people person, I don't think, but he is a money person. He likes the money, but also, Anthony also talked about automation can't occur without standardization, which I think this is my tech stack, like Mr. Customer, take it or leave it, and I believe in it. But I know it is the one throat to choke I have for all my vendors. And he said an MSP can no longer survive in this incredibly competitive landscape without hunkering down, standardized, mastering a specific stack, and then automating that stack. I think that's it's a great statement for the ones that are trying to get to that next operational maturity level.
If I could just add to that point real quick about automating the sales process.
Yeah.
I don't think we're that far off. I really don't.
You're probably not right. You're not wrong.
Yeah. If you look at the people that are going to be making business decisions, they're the younger generation right now. In 15 years, they're going to be used to just click an order and saying, I want that, I want that, I want that, give it to me. And I don't think we're that far off.
Well, I think people are doing some of it now too. Like, you got your galactic scans, your rapid fire tools, your audit. You go in, you do some automated assessment, it spits out a report. That's your thing that you speak to, and then you have some quoting tool, and then the quoting tool goes to the payment tool, which goes to the whatever tool, which goes to provisioning. So things that used to take a long time, like, they're all being put into SOPs and automated where it can.
Yeah, and all I heard was Eric said that I'm old. That's all I heard.
I am as well. I'm getting up there.
but you're right though, and I everyone says that 90% of evaluation of if I'm going to look at this MSP partner to do my IT, or this one, like, I've done 90% of the homework, of that the background checks, all that stuff, before I even pick up the phone and talk to that person. So you're not wrong. What other comments we have here? Okay, let's some good stuff coming in. Let's talk about you guys for a moment, and I don't mean you specifically, I mean your companies, right? So what are you guys doing? ScalePad, CyberQP, ConnectWise. What are you guys doing now? Today, and as you guys kind of look off into the future, as how you're trying to drive operational efficiencies, drive automation. What are you guys doing today and tomorrow? Look, CyberQP, privileged access management, ScalePad, IT asset management, ConnectWise, IT management. The one word in there is management, and that's by design. By the name of that, we're looking for operational efficiencies and tools that help us to make more money and reduce manual tasks and things like that. Who wants to kick it off?
I'll go here. So privileged access management, we're automating the discovery, monitoring, and management of your privileged accounts. That means we're protecting your administrative accounts. We do automation like automatically rotating the passwords for your local admins, your domain admins, anything like that on a daily, monthly basis, updating it in a documentation tool like IT Glue. We also do just-in-time accounts as well, which is a whole automation workflow of creating an account on a server, disabling it when done. But we also have a help desk security automation product called Qdesk, which automates level 1 tasks. We can do self-service password reset, self-service account unlocks using biometrics, Face ID. But we also have a really cool integration that you can use inside ConnectWise Manage or Autotask, or you can do it in our dashboard where you can do identity verification and then the password resets and account syncing right from inside the PSA without having to go in multiple portals. So we have automation layered in all over the product, across products, everything from level 1 to security, intense security.
Nice.
Awesome. I can jump in. So, at ConnectWise, we're kind of tackling this on a couple different fronts. One is ASIO, trying to build integration with all of our tool sets. ConnectWise RMM, I think we're up to 8,000 scripts we created or helped create through our AI program to try and simplify tasks. So the efficiency side on ASIO and our products from the software perspective. In addition, we're really trying to help take labor away through our NOC SOC, our co-managed backup, trying to do a lot of those essential tasks that are critical, but maybe aren't impactful in allowing our partners to do more impactful tasks.
Yeah, I think the things like co-managed backup, those are things that people weren't thinking about, 5 or 10 years ago, but I'm like, hey, this is actually going to save me a lot of money. I can actually do this and have someone else do this for me.
Yeah, a lot of times we just think of the alerting side of it, but it's the rollout, it's the run books, it's the continuity and disaster recovery planning and conversation. So that all that takes time, and it's still very impactful to small businesses.
Absolutely. Eric, how are we doing at ScalePad?
Yeah, for us, we've been up to a lot this year. We've acquired quite a few companies, and we have a model when we're evaluating new solutions and new features to add to our stack, and that's what we call the ASSI framework: automation, standardization, strengthening communications, and then increasing the bottom line, increasing efficiency, and automation being key, and it plays in. So what tool sets can we bring on that automate just about any aspect of an MSP's daily life? But forward thinking, what we're looking at is even the data itself that MSPs have. MSPs have data in a number of different tools, but they're often not talking to each other, and it makes it hard to efficiently run a business without having the proper data at hand. So forward thinking, we're looking at how can we automate even combining all of that data so that we can properly help MSPs make business decisions, whether it's profitable clients and maybe it's engineered tech utilization numbers to automating processes and procedures. All of that data is hard to mine if you don't have a holistic view at all of it. And that's the overall goal of ScalePad, is saying, how can we make sure that all of these tools play nicely together?
That is fantastic. Yeah, I think it's, this ecosystem is getting bigger and it's getting more complex. And how do we all get to talk to each other and help out our MSP community, not having to go through all these different avenues in order to get that data, right? So I think that's going to be key to drive a lot of the efficiencies, a lot of the automation, and help our MSP partners actually make some more money. I think that's what we're trying to do, right? We got less than a minute. All right. I guess we have to wind down. And I think, Eric, I think you said this is going to go by so quickly. And it did. But you guys, I hope that everyone got some really good information out of this discussion. You guys are the kings of what you do, and I appreciate the contributions you guys did. Thank you so much for being part of the vendor panel discussion. And I would look forward to seeing you guys all on the road at some point. probably very soon. So, Caitlin, I'm going to pass it back to you.